Mrs. Larrea. That may be.
Hi, Tatiana. It's great to have you in our group. How are you today?
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well today. Thank you. Well, to start with a little bit of my story, I actually studied economics at UCLA. So I went in and I became a consultant in economic litigation. So I worked on cases like antitrust, monopolization of markets, things that are not related at all to acting or the film industry. But in doing all that, I realized that I really wasn't being completely fulfilled. I had these desires of acting since I was very young. Since I was 8 years old, I used to watch TV, and I always used to be feeling like I should be doing that. Like I should be there. I could be that character. And it was something that kind of eluded me because I thought, well, I'm going to go for a secure job and I'm going to go for something that is more of the usual common day profession. And I loved mathematics, so I loved a lot of things about economics and economics itself. So it made sense. But I don't know, when I was 13, I got a job as in a commercial, in a Polaroid commercial in Ecuador. And I also loved it. So again, it spiked that interest. And I just continued to study, the normal studies of mathematics, things like that. But what ended up happening later on was I realized after over 10 years of working in the field of economics and in litigation consulting that I wasn't very happy. I was happy with the people. I enjoyed the work, but there was something missing. And so as a result, I decided, okay, I have to think about this. Like, what is it that really makes me happy? Like, what is it? And that's when I went back to my childhood and I realized I've always wanted to be an actress. I've always wanted to be in the film industry, and I have to do this. A really interesting quick story was I went to a hotel. It was in New Mexico with my parents, and I was walking through the lobby, and a gentleman came up to me and my family and said, "Do you guys want to be background in this movie?" They were filming a movie at the hotel. So immediately I said, "Oh yes, absolutely." So we went and we did the background. And as they were doing it, I realized, oh, the gentleman who came up to me was the director. I was like, that's fascinating. And then when we were done, when they wrapped, the assistant director came up to me and gave me a piece of paper. And he said, here are 4 agencies for you to contact. So at that point, I thought, okay, if the universe is not telling me right now, sending me a message, I don't know what this is. So that's when I said, okay, I am doing this. So I got headshots. I started taking classes. I started doing different short films. I worked on some films with university films. And I really started honing in my skills and working on what my passion really was to be an actress.
Amazing story, Tana. I'm so happy that you have that moment of realization what you really want to be, and that you get that sign. Now is your moment to take this advantage. So, what is, I would say, your desire right now? What wakes up you in the morning? What you want to accomplish in the near future?
I think that as an actress, my first desire is really to be a really wonderful actress, a character actress, someone who's very versatile and who is good at playing different roles. That just really gives me a lot of excitement, that idea, that concept, and just committed to excellence in my field. I just have a passion for acting, and it's just something that, like I said, has been going on for a really long time, and it finally, I'm committed to this, and this is what I want. I think it's important to be able to connect with the audience in being natural and realistic as an actress and as an actor. I think that people want to, especially right now, people want to leave their own lives because there's so much commotion happening. There's so many things happening in this world that I think a lot of times people watch film and television, they try to escape their world, their reality, to go into a different reality. And when they truly connect with a character, whether it's a character that they love or a character that they hate, it actually helps them to forget about their problems and the things that they're dealing with. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. I think it's wonderful to be able to take people outside of their reality and bring them into something else so that they can just relax and just enjoy a moment.
So can you share from your personal experience, what is that makes you really excited when you are acting, and what is something which it's just part of the job, which everybody have to consider before they decide this is my career?
Okay, so yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think one of the top three qualities is a love for the work itself. I think not for this idea of being famous, not for this idea of, money. I think you really, really have to love what you do, just like in any other profession. This profession is not easy. It takes a lot of time and dedication. And there are a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of downs, because there are a lot of people that are wanting the same thing. But at the same time, it's just, it can be very discouraging at times. It's not like in other professions where you get a job and then you stay there for a long period of time and then you think, oh, maybe I should get another job, or maybe I should, you get promoted. This is very different because you're constantly looking for a new job. So even when you have a job, you're still looking for another job. So it's definitely, the first thing I would say is to love the work itself. You have to love acting. Mm-hmm. I would say the second thing would be diligence. You have to be a hard worker for it to really pay off. You have to be 110% committed to the process so you can persevere. Because like I said, there are many people that want to do this and they all deserve the opportunity. But those that stay with it are the ones that really start to succeed. And the third thing I would say is, being versatile as an actor is really, really helpful. Now, sometimes, you can find a niche where you're either a comedic actor or you're in action. But if you have that versatility, you're basically opening the doors to different avenues of getting work. And it's always very important to have more opportunities. So I think that if you take courses in all the different genres, so, comedy, if you take courses, if you take different, learn different accents. If you also take courses in like drama, theater, just pretty much everything, it's very, very helpful. Commercials, everything is helpful when it comes to acting. And your life experiences, applying your life experiences into your acting and being able to bring that forward, that's part of the versatility. That really helps, because then you can actually tap into something that's real within you and then bring that out to the audience. And the audience can tell the difference when you're being truthful or when you're not being truthful. They can really see it, and they can either connect or they can disconnect. If you haven't experienced that, you actually have to do research. For example, go to a prison and talk to people who have had a bad experience and then try to relive their experience. So in essence, psychologically speaking, it can be very, very difficult to someone who is trying to portray and bring forth a character that's very intense. So you have to have a very good handle of your own persona to be able to distinguish between, okay, right now I can relax and now I can forget about the character and now just focus on Tatiana or just focus on myself or whoever.
Sitting and you are watching the movie and you are one of the main characters. What is the feeling? How do you feel? And how is that look yourself in the movie?
Personally, it's surreal. I'm still not used to it. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I'm not the type of person that likes to see myself on TV. I like to do the work, but I'm not very, I don't see myself and say, wow, look at that. It's more of like, oh, wow, did I do that? Mm-hmm. It's more of like, when I'm the character, I'm not myself. So I really lose myself in the character. So if I rewatch it, at first it was a little bit strange. But the more that I watch myself, the more I remember, oh yeah, that's not me. That's just, who I was playing. And it helps a lot in being able to watch yourself, because watching yourself is very indulging.
Mhm.
And that's very strange to me because I tend to usually put more energy in other people that surround me than in myself. But when I watch myself now, I say, well, that's not me. That is that character. And then I analyze it to see if I really did handle that character the way it was supposed to be.
Can you recommend some movies where you feel this is a good piece of art and you recommend to our community to watch those movies? If you can just let us know a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came out in a couple of series, but I was actually just background in those. In the ones that I'm doing now, which are they're in production right now, those are the ones that I would recommend because that's where it really shows my acting abilities. We are currently doing Sins of the Mother, and that one is right now in post production. So that one is a one where I play a lead role, and I think I would definitely recommend it. The first thing I would say about that particular movie, so when people watch it, is that this person that I play is neurotic. She's psychotic. She is someone who has gone through a transition of 16 years, and these are 44 days of the life after she has been tortured for so long. So you will see a very extreme character. And if you see it as a whole of what it is, then you'll say, wow, I understand where this person's coming from. But hopefully people won't be able to relate to this character because she's a psychotic character. She's not a natural day-to-day character. I think it was very interesting to portray her because she is not someone that people hopefully will relate to. In terms of other things that are coming up, I have other projects that I'm going to be working on. We're going to be working on three more movies that we have in store. Hopefully this movie, Sins of the Mother, will be out early 2021. And then we have another movie that should be out it's called Distortion. And that one we will be filming in November. And hopefully that one will be out sometime in 2021. And then in 2021, we'll be filming another movie that is called Closure. And that one should be out either end of 2021 or 2022. So the stuff that I have right now is kind of in production, but it will be coming out shortly because we're trying to get things out, we're trying to make sure that things go out not quickly because we want to make sure we edit things right, but in good timing. So when I started acting, I got very ill. So I ended up being sick for 2.5 years. And so, so within that time, I was doing behind the scenes production stuff. And so now I'm back and I'm very excited for all the things we're working on.
Do you have some of favorite actor and movie? And if that's the case, let us know why.
I do. I have several favorite actors. I think, if I think about it, you know what's so funny? Because I actually wrote down some of them because there's so many that I was like, well, if they asked me that, what would I respond? And I think, for example, I love Jack Nicholson because he always plays roles that are kind of outside of the norm. I think when he plays different roles, he's so out there, but it's so realistic. You really believe this person. Wow, you look at him and you almost feel like he came out of a different world. So I love Jack Nicholson. I also like, let me see if I wrote down another one that was really interesting to me. There's just so many to think about, but I would say Jack Nicholson is one that really comes to mind. I love Alfred Hitchcock movies. I think I like the intensity in them. So movies like The Birds. I like movies like The Shining too. I am really into horror movies, although I like all types of movies. I also like The Notebook. So I have a lot of versatility where I will like the very romantic and the very scary. Anything. And sometimes if you ask my husband when we're watching a movie, I don't want to watch it because I actually get very involved in it, like emotionally. I get so involved in it that I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then he's like, no, you need to watch. So The Notebook, when it comes to romance, is really a cute story. Anything by Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, anything by Alfred Hitchcock is great. Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead, those type of movies are movies that when I was little, that one really impacted me. The Exorcist impacted me. So any movie that really causes like a big emotional kind of that I still remember. The Exorcist is something that just never goes away, even though I know it's not real, and even though I've been to Washington D.C. and I've visited, the gasoline station below where they filmed it. I still feel every time I see it, it's like, oh my God, did this really happen?
And Tatiana, because you are changing your characters and perspective, and you have this like huge scope from the horror movie to the romance movies. So, what do you do to be Tatiana, be with yourself, to refresh yourself, and just be who you are? Just to between the maybe two characters, between two projects, what do you do to refresh all that energy and to become again who you are?
I think you have to dedicate some time to yourself and to your family. I think it's very important to remember that the people that surround you, are there to remind you of who you really are. And also, I have a very strong belief in God. So I always feel like he guides me in the right directions. And so I have something bigger than me that's always there, kind of like telling me like, this is where you should go, or this is where you should go. And it's really about how you feel. If you feel something is for you, then I feel like, okay, this is probably it. But I would say my belief in God, family, and friends, and people that are there for you when times are tough and when they show you unconditional love, regardless of whatever you're working on or whatever you're going through, whether it's a health issue or whether it's a job issue. So I think that grounds you, and I think that grounds me as a human being, just being around people you love. Now, how it affects me, I would say that every day that I live my life, with every experience that I have, whether it's with acting or anything that happens, every day I'm a different person. And I think that applies to everyone. When you have a good day or a bad day, you learn from that. And then you apply that to your life. And the next day, you do something differently, hopefully. Sometimes people repeat mistakes. But as long as you're learning from your experience, then that is what really matters. Because you have to do a self-analysis. That is one thing that acting has truly taught me, because I'm analyzing characters. I start analyzing myself in my own life, and I start thinking, well, why did I do that? And why did I think that? And so that analysis is, I think, what we need to do as human beings a little bit more, because sometimes we get so caught up in life that we're just living. We don't stop and think and say, okay, why am I behaving this way? Or why is this happening to me? And if I want to change it, what did I learn from this experience? If it was a bad experience, what positive aspect of this can I take with me in order to change for the next time? And I think that is the essence. The essence of change is learning. And to learn, you have to analyze.
Yeah, I think it's connected with emotional intelligence and empathy. And it's great that you share all this outstanding experience. So I'm very, very happy that we have you in our community. I hope all female entrepreneurs or actors or future actors can learn a lot from you. And we are looking forward for your upcoming projects. And yes, we are very, very happy and pleased to have you in our community. Thank you so much for your story, for your perspective, for sharing your transformation. And I'm so happy that you are living your dreams now and that you are doing what you really love. And for sharing all this great advice for people who consider acting as their career. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate your time.